topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good afternoon, Texas. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show. My home state. I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. I have got the most incredible show, the most incredible expert coming on today. You know, we have so many homeowners that watch and listen to this show. And about 6 months ago, we started getting requests for areas such as public adjuster, the process of appraisal, and we just didn't have an opening. We finally got an opening last month. Seems like it's been a year. We found the greatest when it comes to the appraisal process. We found, I'm telling you, one of the top ones in Texas. I want to introduce you. This is a new expert. I am so looking forward to this show. Let me introduce you to Ray Hernandez of Your Claims Expert. Good afternoon, Ray.
Good afternoon, Stephen. Thank you for having me.
Hey, it seems like it's been a year since we've been waiting for this to come on.
I know. I tell me about it. It's such an important topic for the industry. And most homeowners don't know about it.
I know. And, you know, and that's what is so important with a show like this. First of all, tell us about your company.
Well, EGS, Exclusive Global Solution, was founded in 2017 while I was still working for the insurance company. I am an insurance adjuster for over 25 years in the state of Florida. I also now, I'm licensed in Texas, and most of the states there are, I forgot the name, oh Lord, that the license is reciprocal. Mm-hmm. Like New Jersey, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Colorado. But I'm based right now mostly in Houston, Texas, Dallas, and in Florida.
What made you decide to make the change?
Well, think about this. Working for the insurance company for so many years, and I'm not going to go into all the details, but I saw that the things that happen to the homeowners by now understanding their policy, by not knowing how to navigate and or report their claims. And through all those years, I was asking myself, if I was spending the right time at the right place, what kind of impact I'm creating during my time in this world. And I decided that for the homeowner, especially since they didn't have the knowledge, and me coming from the inside, working for the insurance company, I decided that I can provide various service for the community, helping the homeowners directly.
So I know everybody is asking, what does an appraiser, a claims damage consultant do?
Well, an appraiser is an individual that participate in the appraisal process, right? So most policies in general have the appraisal clause, which is a portion of the policy that allows the homeowner to bring any dispute after the claim has been adjusted.
Mm.
So it's like the intermediate where the homeowner would bring their own appraiser, demand appraisal, and the insurance company will be a neutral appraisal, and we will meet at the property, work out differences, and provide a value to the loss as it was reported. In the event that we don't agree, there's a third person on the panel called the umpire. So think about this fact. So the appraisal process begins when there's a cover loss and there's a dispute on the damages as it was reported, right? So the insurance company says it's 20,000. The homeowner's contractor says it's 40,000. Now, due to the appraisal process clause in the policy, if they have it, the homeowners can demand appraisal and bring EGS as the company to represent them as the appraisal firm. And then the insurance company will select a neutral party as their appraiser. But then we have to always select an umpire in the event we cannot come into agreement and we still have a dispute after they're having a dispute with the insurance company.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm shocked how many questions we already have. This is your first show. This is from Naomi in Fort Worth, Texas. I am so glad someone's finally doing a show on appraisals. I am first learning about it. I'm so glad you are bringing this show to us. My question is, what's the difference in the appraisal process or what a public adjuster does?
Okay, so usually, especially in the state of Texas, there's a different way to demand appraisal. For example, some claims are reported by the public adjuster with the insured or the attorney, right? The difference between the appraisal process and the public adjuster process is that the public adjuster process is the beginning process of reporting and operating coverage for the claim. Once it becomes a dispute in between the homeowners, their public adjuster, and the insurance company, then there's a process resolution for disputes called the appraisal clause in the policy. And that's when the homeowners and the insurance company select a neutral party to come with fresh set of mindset to evaluate the loss and to provide value to the damages. So the public adjuster open the claim, do the inspection, go through all the hurdles, through the coverages to make sure that they are on the same scope. So if they have the roof, for example, and have several bedrooms, the public adjuster needs to make sure that before going into the appraisal process, all those scope areas are in line with the insurance company, and only the difference is on the value.
Here's a question from Norman in Sugarland. That's Sugarland. That's close to Houston.
Yes.
Thank you. This is a great show. I never knew this even existed. So I just want to make sure I have it right. The appraiser, like your expert, comes in after the public adjuster. And I want to know who hires the appraiser, the homeowner or the adjuster?
Okay, well, so just like the policy provision specifies on the appraisal clause, so each party, the homeowner and the insurance company, when we're talking about party, we're talking about the insurance company and the homeowner. Those are two parties to the contract of the insurance. So each party is responsible for the owner appraiser fees.
Okay.
And then if in the event that the umpire needs to get involved as a neutral third party, then the umpire fee is divided 50% the insurance company and 50% the insured. But the responsibility to hire and pay the appraisal is from the homeowner side, is the homeowner, not the public adjuster, not the contractor.
So here's the letter I was telling you about that came in before the show. I am so glad you're doing a show like this. Can your expert explain the appraisal process?
Very simple. So, for example, the homeowner has a hurricane loss. And the beauty of this process in the state of Texas is that versus the state of Florida is that the homeowner can demand appraiser. They can demand appraisal themselves without any public adjuster of any attorney representation. It's allowed in the state of Texas. So I've been working with homeowners and roofers where they can advise the homeowner to look at their policy to see if they have the appraisal clause. And if they do, they can, if there's a dispute of the laws and everything is already open coverage, there's no dispute on scope. We got to be careful on this because I haven't gotten a lot of cases where there's a dispute on scope. And by the time it goes to the appraisal process, now we're not here evaluating coverage. We're actually providing value to the loss as it was reported. Some company has a clause on the appraisal process that it says that, I'm sorry, they have clause verbiage in the language of the policy that it says that you can only, for example, in Florida, you can only report or demand appraisal by a public adjuster or an attorney. Okay, but if you have a dispute still on the scope of coverages, most likely I would recommend them to go either with a public adjuster, clear that out, or with an attorney. And then if there's a dispute on the value, then it will come back to the appraisal process.
Out of every 10 policies, how many of them have or need an appraiser, would you say?
Well, most policies in Texas have the appraisal clause, right? Most policies have the appraisal. Some are being changed in Florida, for example, through mediation process before appraisal. But in Texas, it's a very, very good state where the homeowner is entitled to demand appraisal when there's that discrepancy on the value of the loss.
And these insurance companies are so tough, aren't they, Ray?
Well, you need to understand something. I've been working with insurance companies for such a long time. And the reason why, one of the main reasons that I went to the private sector working for the homeowners, it was because I do understand it's a business. They run a business to profit. Okay, the bottom line, it's a business to profit. So if you want to file your laws, the burden of proof is on the homeowners because they are the ones calling the claim, right? Now, we have no dispute to this amount that they issue at the beginning. If you have a dispute, then you have to fight for it. And that's when the homeowner needs to be knowledgeable and educated on what kind of avenue they can use to navigate. And usually the appraisal process is the most cost and fast process in order to bring the homeowner back to previous condition.
So, Ray, we got, I can't believe we're getting so many texts during the show for a first show. It's pretty amazing. A lot of people did not even know about what you do, what a appraiser does. And I think that's why we're getting so many questions. Here's one they want to know, is there a way, I understand you can't give names or insurance companies. Can you give us an example of one of the past claims you worked on?
You want a positive example or you want just a reflection of,
just tell us about it.
Well, one of the companies that I see that the homeowners and contractors and even public adjusters and attorney have had the most issue navigating through their policy claims has been TWIA. For the reason is that their policy is written in a way that you have to follow the policy in order to move forward. So most of the cases that I gave with this company from TWIA, it actually hurts my heart because just based on somebody's opinion, they could remove the entire damage to the interior leak.
Oh.
So I'm seeing what they call a disposition letter, which is part of their policy, right? A disposition letter is a letter when they assume coverage, but they partially deny others. right? So I've been getting a lot of claims for appraisal where the homeowners and the public adjusters and the roofer were not knowledgeable enough to determine how to navigate the disposition letter where they acknowledge damage to the roof, but they said that the water damage to the interior is wind-driven rain. Well, it came from the roof to a created opening because it was a windstorm. So just that decision would hurt the homeowners' loss by 50% because if they have the roof in the interior, now I can even dispute because in their policy it have to be acknowledged as a coverage area if you want to move forward in the appraisal. So they will send you a disposition letter specifying what they agree to go to appraisal and what not. But they also have clause in their policy that allows the homeowner to fight back and defend the position. But most homeowners don't know that about.
Ray, how long? I know every claim is different. How long does the process usually last?
Well, usually right now in our Exclusive Global Solution, EGS, our goal, and we've been actually pretty good on it, is from the moment we do the appraisal inspection, not from the moment the homeowners demand appraisal, because there's certain timelines that the insurance company have to respond to that, acknowledge or disagree. But from the moment we meet at the inspection within 30 days, if it's going to go through without the umpire, I should have the file finalized. And if it's going to go to the panel, to the umpire, it will be another 60 to 90 days. Depends on the umpire availability.
Wow. In Texas, where can a homeowner legally demand appraised on their insurance claim?
It will be any homeowner that suffer a loss, and after the insurance company inspected the property, issue payment, there's a discrepancy in value. For example, any homeowner that have a loss that the insurance company said is going to be $20,000 and their proposal from their contractor is 60 grand, that triggers the right to appraisal.
Ray, how do you get paid?
I get paid by the homeowner directly. Okay. Usually, either we do it through our QuickBooks invoice. So it could be credit card, checks, Zelle, Venmo.
And what kind of claims do you mostly see? Is it roof damage, flooding? What do you mostly see in Texas?
In Texas, a lot of roof damage in between hail and storm winds. Either it's a named storm or just a scattered wind event. And
then in an appraisal in Texas, when you're talking about the amount of damage, or is it decided what's covered also?
Well, in Texas, and also we got to go by policy provision as well. But in Texas, is one of the states that you can determine causation. You can determine causation, and you can. But when you determine causation, there might be consequential to that particular laws. What usually happens is that we need to prepare a separate appraisal award. So we're going to have an award for the damage as it was reported, and then we're going to have an award as what we saw during the inspection through causation to open coverage. But it's not very often to see those.
Okay. And first, also tell people your phone number and your website.
Well, my website, let me see. Let me get this real quick.
Is that the Your Claims Expert?
Yeah. Well, it's My Claims Expert. That's the landing page, myclaimexpert.com. My phone number, I can barely see it there because I'm just a line.
713-584-6339.
Yeah, that's my Texas line.
I want to tell people, so when you see expert, it's X, the letter X, there's no E. Expert, P-E-R-T.
Correct.
So
What do you
when
think
you
about
go
that name?
to,
That's kind of interesting, right? The way I wrote that name. I
and
think
then I've got to ask you this, Ray. What's the difference between your company appraising versus other companies out there?
I think the difference is not only my years of experience working, but I see the claims, I see the appraisal process different than most other appraisers, only because I had the opportunity to be trained by the insurance company for several years. I was sent in 2002 to Bell National School of Insurance, Arlington, Texas, where I learned how different materials get affected by wind, hail, fire. Depends on if it's a roof, tile, shingle roofs, lay roof. So, and also working with different policies throughout the state as a desk adjuster. So I was a claim rep, which is the one that picks up the phone and take the loss notice when the insurance called. Then I became a desk adjuster. She's the person that review the file, talk to the insurer, issue payment or deny. And then I became a field staff, which is the person within the insurance company that they can also inspect the property at the same time issue payment through coverage. And then I became a public adjuster in 2005, worked the hurricane here in Florida, Irma Katrina. And then the insurance company called me back. Assurance called me back in 2014. Said, Ray, we want you to come back to work for us as a field staff adjuster to help us navigate through all these negotiations with public adjusters and attorney to alleviate from legal fees. And then in 2017, I decided to open Exclusive Global Solutions. So that kind of separates me and gives me an edge of how the insurance company is going to view even what the appraiser is going to send to them, because I used to be that person. So I know what they look for. I know how to navigate. I usually talk to the appraiser for the insurance company. When I tell them that, then they understand that I know the lingo. They cannot kind of BS me, even though I'm from Florida. Right. So that also helped me build a report for them. They do believe that I understand the process and that I'm not acting as a public adjuster, just as an avenue to bring a resolution to the loss.
I like the fact that you've worked both sides of the table.
Yeah,
And
that's
I want to say something else. Customer service is so important. And you have got the greatest assistant with Caroline. She is so on the ball. I mean, she makes sure everything works. And, I got to tell you, the customer service nowadays is so important, especially when someone needs you to come, appraise. Because, boy, this could get, I mean, usually when you hit with them, they are not happy about where the insurance, how much they want to give them. Correct?
correct, 100%. That's so true. And this is one of the biggest concern and biggest question in this industry is the customer service in between homeowners, public adjusters, attorney. On Exclusive Global Solution, we have created a system. Everything's automated. So the moment we get the assignment, it goes through a CRM where it creates the automatizations and the welcoming. We follow up after the inspection every 7 days, weekly. We follow up with the homeowners to bring it up to date with what's going on with the case. The moment our office receive any information or contact the opposing appraisal or have any information in the case that pertain to the whole process, is in email, text, is automated immediately to the homeowners or the public adjuster to inform them what's going on with the case. And I think that's what we're going to create a difference is on how you communicate with the insured.
We got about 20 seconds left. Give people again your phone number, how they can reach you.
Oh my God! You see, I should have wrote it down.
I got it right here.
Yeah,
It is. This is the Texas number. It is 713-584-6339. I got to tell you did such a great job for your first show.
I know. Guys.
Ray will be back again with us next month. Thank you so much, Ray, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you so much for having me, Stephen.
We're going to go to a quick break. We'll be right back.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.